Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundlesssuccess to join today. Let's get you to the next level. We're here because the news is being distorted. We're here because people are being inundated with misinformation on social media. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth. Surprisingly good numbers for the economy. Tariff chaos continues. The war in Gaza heats up again, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. The U.S. economy continued to add jobs in March, and the pace of job gains picked up at a faster pace than a month ago, despite economic uncertainty. The Labor Department on Friday announced that employers added 228,000 jobs in March, above the estimate of economists who anticipated 135,000 jobs gained. The unemployment rate was 4.2%, slightly higher than a month ago, and above economists' expectations. The number of jobs added in the prior 2 months were both revised downward slightly, with job creation in January revised down by 14,000 and February revised down by 34,000. Mortgage rates ticked lower last week, mortgage buyer Freddie Mac said on Thursday. Freddie Mac's latest primary mortgage market survey, released Thursday, showed that the average rate on the benchmark 30-year fixed mortgage fell slightly to 6.64% from last week's reading of 6.65%. The average rate on a 30-year loan was 6.82% a year ago. Over the last month, the 30-year fixed rate has settled in, making only slight moves in either direction, said Sam Catter, Freddie Mac's chief economist. This stability is reassuring, and borrowers have responded with purchase application demand rising to the highest growth rate since late last year. 8 OPEC oil-producing nations Thursday agreed to boost crude oil production beginning in May. OPEC said in a statement that Saudi Arabia, Russia, Iraq, the UAE, Kuwait, Kazakhstan, Algeria, and Oman reaffirmed their commitment to voluntary production adjustments as they announced plans to boost production to a more than expected 411,000 barrels per day. The gradual increase may be paused or reversed subject to evolving market conditions. This flexibility will allow the group to continue to support oil market stability, OPEC said in the statement. Meanwhile, U.S. oil prices dropped below $60 a barrel. Futures hit a session low of $58.95 per barrel, and U.S. crude oil was last down 2.71%, or $1.68, at $60.31. The move comes after back-to-back 6% declines last week. The U.S. benchmark is now at the lowest level since 2021. The global oil benchmark also fell to an intraday low of $62.51 and was trading at its lowest level in 4 years. President Trump's unilateral 10% baseline tariffs on imports went into effect on Saturday, with U.S. customs agents beginning to collect the tariffs at seaports, airports, and customs warehouses. Higher tariffs on 57 larger trading partners are set to start next week. The administration released a list of more than 1,000 exempted product categories, including crude oil, petroleum products, and other energy imports. Other excluded categories are pharmaceuticals, uranium, titanium, lumber, semiconductors, and copper. President Trump maintains the tariffs will spur companies to forego foreign goods and return manufacturing to American shores, among other benefits. Experts say it could take years to train workers and rebuild infrastructure. At least 50 countries have approached the Trump administration to negotiate new trade deals as a wave of international tariffs begin to take effect. Vietnam, which sells far more to the U.S. than it buys in return, making it one of the largest contributors to America's trade gap, said Sunday that it is ready to remove all tariffs on U.S. goods ahead of the country's 46% levy set to begin April 9th. Meanwhile, the European Union is expected to approve retaliatory tariffs on up to $28 billion worth of U.S. imports in the coming days, escalating trade tensions. President Trump is urging Americans to hang tough as negotiations continue, saying the goal is to bring back jobs and businesses like never before. Meanwhile, Dow Jones Industrial Average futures dropped 1,531 points, or 4%, on Sunday evening. Stellantis is following Ford in offering an employee discount to the public this month as President Trump's latest round of auto tariffs take effect. Starting Friday, Stellantis, whose brands include Jeep, Ram, and Chrysler, expanded its employee discount program on most new models to the public. This week, we launched aggressive and consistent incentive and marketing support for April, including an exciting and competitive enhancement that will allow our customers America's freedom of choice between employee price or current cash incentives, Stellantis stated. Tens of thousands of people crowded in front of the Washington Monument and in cities across the nation on Saturday to protest President Donald Trump and top advisor Elon Musk's dismantling of federal agencies, imposition of sweeping tariffs, and what demonstrators called the circumvention of due process. Organizers said at least 1,300 hands-off rallies were planned by more than 150 groups in all 50 states. Photos and videos on social media showed throngs gathered in public squares or marching through the streets from Boston to Los Angeles. Over 1,000 protesters have already admitted to being paid to be at the protests. Other protesters caught on tape could not coherently explain what they were protesting. Hamas has revised its casualty figures down from the Gaza war, removing hundreds of names from its official list of war fatalities and revealing that 72% of those killed were men aged 13 to 55, a demographic largely composed of combatants. The updated figures contradict Hamas's earlier claims that most casualties were women and children. Salo Eisenberg from the U.S.-based nonprofit Honest Reporting uncovered the changes through a detailed analysis of Hamas's casualty lists. The investigation revealed that 3,400 names, including over 1,080 children, were removed from the group's March 2025 report after being listed in 2024. Eisenberg pointed out that the original reports published by the Hamas-controlled Gaza Ministry of Health were widely cited by major international organizations, including the United Nations and the International Criminal Court. These deaths never happened. The numbers were falsified again, he wrote. Israel struck back on Sunday after Hamas terrorists launched several rockets towards towns in the southern district of Israel on Sunday. The Israel Defense Force said it hit the rocket launchers in the Gaza Strip from which the projectiles were launched earlier Sunday toward Israel. The rockets were fired from central Gaza towards Ashdod and Ashkelon on Sunday evening. There were reports of damage and debris in several locations. There were 10 rockets in total, and Israeli forces only intercepted half. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.